What's up, people? Welcome back to Daily Red Devil for all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk. Hope everyone is doing well this evening. We've got an absolutely massive show for you guys tonight, so please do make sure to smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel, and let's jump straight on into it. So, we've got a really big story coming out in the last couple of minutes, actually, which we want to start off the show. This is surrounding Leon Goretzka. Now, we spoke a little bit about this earlier on today, but we've had another story come out from Takeover. Obviously, he reported this story earlier on today that apparently Manchester United are still interested in signing Leon Goretzka. Now, we've had this story come out literally in the last 30 minutes that apparently Manchester United are planning to intensify their efforts to sign Bayern Munich midfielder Leon Goretzka. This is coming out from Plettigol, who is, of course, the German journalist who reports for Sky Sports. He earlier on today said that Manchester United was still interested in him. But since that initial report came out, he's put another story out saying that apparently Manchester United are now intensifying their efforts to sign the midfielder. I'm not too sure about this one, to be completely honest with you. He isn't somebody that I would bring to Manchester United. He really isn't. I said that on the video earlier. I do quite like him, but I think from what I've heard from a couple of my friends who are Bayern Munich fans, they've said ultimately he is deteriorating over the last couple of years. And the reason that he's not getting game time under Thomas Tuchel is ultimately because he's not good enough. You know, they've got Kimmich, they've got other players in that position who are better than him. And for me personally, I don't really want to sign any players anymore at Manchester United who are not good enough to be here anymore. We've got plenty of players already like that. So Leon Goretzka, he's a good player, but I don't think he's better than Casemiro. So for me, it's a no. But do let me know in the comment section what you think about this one. Obviously, if he does come to the club, I will support him. And of course, I wish him all the best. But for me, he is not somebody that I would be actively trying to sign, to be completely honest with you. I genuinely think that Amrabat is a better player. Amrabat's 26, Goretzka's 28. I know that's not a massive difference, but the key thing for me is that Erik ten Hag has worked with Amrabat before. They both know what to expect from each other. Amrabat can definitely come into this Manchester United team and hit the ground running immediately. Whereas I just have this feeling with Leon Goretzka, is he going to come in and maybe not do what we all expected? I assume he'll be on absolutely ridiculous wages as well. I just think he's another one of those players that's a fancy name. He's somebody that sounds great, but in reality, he'll probably come in and not do that well. Personally, he's on £250,000 at Bayern Munich, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. I would not pay Leon Goretzka 250 grand a week to come to Manchester United. And you know, if he comes here, he's definitely going to want a salary of that kind of size, isn't he? Somebody like Amrabat is asking for around £100,000 a week. If it was up to me, I would much rather get Amrabat for 100 grand a week than pay Leon Goretzka £250,000 a week. It's a massive no from me, but do let me know in the comment section. Would you like to see Leon Goretzka from Bayern Munich come to Manchester United? As I said, Plettigol, the German journalist, is reporting that Manchester United are now intensifying their efforts to sign Bayern Munich midfielder Leon Goretzka. Definitely a no from me, but as always, I do like to see you guys' opinions in the comment section. So do get involved. Do let me know how you're feeling about this. Now, let's move on to the next topic. Let's talk about Rasmus Hojlund. We can confirm that apparently Rasmus Hojlund will be unveiled as a Manchester United player this Saturday at Old Trafford. Everybody's been wondering why the hell has he not been announced. He was done his medical today and yesterday. His medical is complete. He's apparently signed his contract, but Manchester United will announce him as a Manchester United player this Saturday at Old Trafford for the Manchester United versus Lens game. We will be doing a watch along for that one, guys. So if you do like the watch alongs, do make sure you subscribe, do get involved in the community. We will be doing a watch along for the game this Saturday against Lens. And it has been confirmed that Rasmus Hojlund will be unveiled as a Manchester United player this coming Saturday at Old Trafford. And you know what was really nice? I was at the game a couple of years ago where Varan got revealed as a Manchester United player, and honestly, it was such a special moment. I think it was against Leeds when we absolutely smashed them. I might be wrong there, but yeah, I was at the game at Old Trafford and Raphael Varan walked out onto the pitch, and honestly, that moment was absolutely incredible. So anybody who's going to the game on Saturday, that'll be a very special one. I assume Rasmus Hojlund will probably feature in the game on Sunday against Atletico Bilbao in Dublin. Don't quote me on that, but that would be my guess. But yeah, anybody who's going to the game on Saturday, I hope you have a really good one. I was trying to get a ticket for it, but unfortunately, I've got other plans that day, and logistically, it's just not going to be possible to go to the game. But anybody who is going to that game on Saturday, you're in for a treat. You will be able to see Rasmus Hojlund play. But I do want to look at this from a slightly more negative angle. This is Manchester United ultimately delaying it to try and keep up positivity, you know? They should be out there doing these other deals. We should have Amrabat by this weekend. Instead, Manchester United are continuing to build up the positivity, build up the momentum. So we're all still talking about Rasmus Hojlund. When's he going to sign? He hasn't signed yet. They're delaying buying players, as they always do. I know we've been quite proactive this transfer window, but the thing you have to remember is a week on Monday, we play our very first game against Wolverhampton Wanderers. And is Rasmus Hojlund going to be ready for that game? I'm not sure. Hopefully he is. Hopefully he is ready. But if he only starts training next week, is Rasmus Hojlund then going to be able to play in the Premier League less than 1 week later? I'm not entirely sure, to be completely honest. Hopefully he is, because I do think we need him to play in that game against Wolverhampton. I think we'll struggle without him in that game. I really, really do. And I think we need him for that match. I think he is going to be really, really important to the way we play. So hopefully he does feature against Wolves, because otherwise it's going to be Jadon Sancho as a false nine, isn't it? Which I'm not really that excited about, to be completely honest with you. Obviously, Rashford can play as a striker, and we could potentially look at playing Garnacho on the left wing that game, which again would be quite exciting. So yeah, hopefully he's able to start in the game against Wolves, because literally we were all hoping that he would be playing this Saturday. But now they're saying he's just going to be unveiled as a Manchester United player on Saturday. So anybody who's going to that game, you won't get to see him actually playing, but it looks like he will be unveiled, which is better than nothing, I guess, but it still is frustrating. And Manchester United do need to be doing transfers, not just wasting time, unveiling players. I mean, it is a joke, isn't it? As Jimmy says in the chat, it's an absolute joke, to be completely honest with you. To think that the Manchester United fans are happy to wait until Saturday to unveil a player who we've been the most frustrating thing about Rasmus Hojlund, right, is we've been linked to Rasmus Hojlund and talking to Atalanta before this channel even existed. This channel's only existed for 8 weeks, and we were negotiating with Atalanta before this channel even existed. We agreed personal terms with him back in May. Great, we've got the deal over the line. Okay, that's positive. But the fact that we announced the here we go was like a week ago, and we're only going to sign him on Saturday. I mean, what is that about? It's all just about marketing. It's about selling shirts. It's about clicks on social media. It's about generating hype. And ultimately, Manchester United are doing that. Everybody's talking about it. We're talking about it. It's very, very frustrating. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Rasmus Hojlund will be unveiled as a Manchester United player this coming Saturday. The exact line is as follows. So they say this. This is coming out from the Manchester United press officer, Andrew Ward, who has confirmed that the club are not planning to announce Rasmus Hojlund until the weekend. It will probably be done during the friendly match against Lens on Saturday. So yeah, very, very frustrating. And if he isn't featuring in that game against Wolves because he's not ready yet, that'll be so, so annoying. It really, really will. But let's just try and stay positive. Let's hope that he has a really good training session next week under Erik ten Hag. And let's hope that he hits the ground running in that game against Wolves. And I'm going to say it now, all right? I'm going to put my neck on the line. I think Rasmus Hojlund is going to play against Wolves, and I think he's going to score. All right? I'll bet that with you now. I think Rasmus Hojlund will score in his debut match. I have this feeling. I do. I have this feeling. He's been absolutely tearing it up for the Danish national team. I think he got a hat-trick or 2 goals on his debut, didn't he? So, yeah, I think he's going to play in that game against Wolves, and I think he'll get a goal. Let me know in the comment section, though. Do you think Rasmus Hojlund will score a goal on his debut? Let me know. I'm going, yeah, I think he will. But obviously, that's just my opinion. I don't know for sure whether he'll even start. Right, let's move on with some more bits of news then. Let's talk about Amrabat really, really quickly. So, we've had about 3 or 4 new stories come out this afternoon surrounding Sofyan Amrabat. And the most important one here is coming from Fabrizio Romano. Fabrizio Romano is reporting the following. Manchester United will prepare their official bid for Sofyan Amrabat very soon. Sources expect the deal to be worth around 28 to 30 million euros. So it looks like Sofyan Amrabat will be coming to Manchester United. Fabrizio has confirmed that we will be putting in our first bid very, very soon. The deal will ultimately be worth around 24 to 25 million pounds. Sofyan Amrabat wants the move. Obviously, Erik ten Hag really, really wants him. And Fabrizio goes on to say that as soon as Fred or Donny van de Beek leave the club, Manchester United will then submit the bid. So they're waiting for one of them to leave. We will talk about both of those 2 players in a minute. But as it stands, Manchester United are waiting for waiting for Fred to leave, or waiting for Donny van de Beek to leave. So he says Manchester United will send an official bid for Sofyan Amrabat as soon as Fred or Donny van de Beek leaves the club. That's coming from Fabrizio Romano. So as I just said. And then we've got another Italian journalist saying that Manchester United are now not far away from the 30 million euros request from Fiorentina for Sofyan Amrabat. The next few days could see more positive moves being made. So we've had about 3 or 4 different journalists today coming out saying that apparently 30 million euros will be enough to get the Amrabat deal over the line. As I said, that's around about 25 million pounds, which I think is a quality bit of business. I'm honestly, I reckon that's a 10 out of 10 transfer. 25 million for Sofyan Amrabat. I know he's not the most like hipster signing. He's not like a Kimmich, or he's not like a Declan, maybe not Declan Rice, but you know what I mean in it. He's he's not the most hipster name in the book. He's not like a Lavia, but I honestly think he'll come in and be an absolute workhorse for Manchester United. I think he'll be an absolute brute in that midfield. He'll do all of the dirty work. He's physical. He's strong. He's very, very good at intercepting play and breaking up play. And I think I honestly think he's going to be one of our most important signings this season. I think he's more important than Mason Mount. I think he's more important than Rasmus Hojlund. Honestly, this man is going to completely change the way we play football. And I think will really, really improve in those games last season where we lost 7-0 against Liverpool and Brentford 4-0. I don't think that will happen again this season if Amrabat comes into the team. Jamie's saying in the chat that apparently he rejected Klopp. Yeah, there was some story rolling around. I don't know how true this was. I did see it in a couple of places that apparently Jurgen Klopp was trying to like contact him to convince him to come to Liverpool, but apparently he just said no. I'm not. Yeah. Sorry, there's some breaking news. As always, guys, you know what it's like when you're live. You get bits of breaking news come in which throws you a bit. So obviously we did a show earlier about the Manchester United takeover. We've had another story come in literally the last 30 seconds. This is coming from Ben Jacobs, who I know some of you for some reason don't like. So Ben Jacobs saying the Manchester United sale process hasn't been paused as previously reported. Groups say they're waiting for further communication and ready if chosen. Yet counter suggestions, as we've seen throughout from this close, insist that Qatar are in fact behind delays. I'm not sure what the hell that means, to be completely honest with you. So Ben Jacobs is saying, those close to sellers insist Qatar are in fact behind delays. Let me know if anybody knows what that means. That doesn't make any sense. Everybody on his Twitter is saying, what the hell are you talking about? I have no idea what that means, to be completely honest with you. Ben Jacobs has just piped up. He's just put out a tweet about the takeover and it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. I mean, how useful is that? If you're going to do something about the takeover, the thing that's probably the most emotionally driven moment of any Manchester United fan's whole existence, and you put out a tweet that doesn't make any sense. So I'm not sure what that means. I'll try and get a bit more clarity on that and bring it back to you in a bit. But ultimately, Ben Jacobs has just put out a cryptic message about the takeover, which makes absolutely zero sense. Yeah, no idea. Unless he means that Sheikh Jassim is okay with the delays behind, like as in I'm behind you, I support you. Maybe that's what he means. It doesn't make any sense to me. Somebody saying, does that mean that Qatar is behind the delay? That's what I'm saying. It doesn't make sense. It's not clear. I'll keep you updated on that one. I'll try and work out what the hell is going on because his tweet makes zero sense. It could either mean that they're behind the delay, as in they're the ones who are causing the delay, or it could mean that they're happy with the delay. Let me just read it again one more time. It says, counter suggestions, as we've seen throughout, from those close to the sellers, insist Qatar are in fact behind delays. Honestly, I don't mean to be rude, but he is talking out of his bum. That makes no sense. Anyway, let's move on with the show. I'll come back to that if any more information comes on that. Now, there is a really, really interesting story that's come out in the last couple of minutes. This might be a complete red herring. It might be complete rubbish, but I do want to bring it into the show anyway because I want to speak about it with you, the community, and try and get you guys' opinions. So there's a story coming out in the last couple of minutes that apparently a mysterious club have put in an £80 million bid for Caicedo. Okay? Obviously, this isn't Chelsea. So the story goes as follows. Moises Caicedo's camp have been told by Brighton that an £80 million plus bid, bigger than Chelsea's offer, from an unnamed Premier League club is strictly confidential. They don't know the identity or whether the offer has been real. However, contrary to some reports, Liverpool have not bid. So who do you think this bid is? Apparently, another club have just made a bid of £80 million for Moises Caicedo from... let me know in the comments section. Who do you think's put in this bid? Do you think it's Manchester United? I mean, we were linked to him before. I would be very, very surprised if... I'd be very, very surprised if it is Manchester United, but I thought I would bring it in just to see what you guys thought. Just to be very, very clear, it isn't Liverpool who've put in this bid. It's another club. It's not Liverpool and it's not Chelsea, apparently. But again, we'll keep you updated on that one. And I will keep you informed as we get more information. Right, so we have got a bit of clarity about this Ben Jacobs tweet. So the tweet goes as follows. He says, those close to the sellers of Manchester United insist that Sheikh Jassim's bid are behind the delays in the sale process. So apparently it is Sheikh Jassim that is causing the delay. This is what Ben Jacobs has put out in the last couple of minutes. That apparently Sheikh Jassim are the ones that are causing the delay in the sale process. I mean, how is that even possible? They've put in their bids when they were asked to. They've done everything that the Glazers have supposedly asked. You know, they've done all of their paperwork. They've made their company. They've done all of the things that we would expect from a new owner. But now Ben Jacobs is putting out this tweet saying that Sheikh Jassim's bid are behind the delays in the sale process. I don't know. I really don't know what that means, to be completely honest with you. Like, why would Qatar, Sheikh Jassim, be making the process take longer? We know how desperate he is to get the club. I don't understand that. I really, really don't. Yeah, if anybody in the chat can make any sense of that, please let me know. But I cannot work out why they would want to do that. Yeah, and just to confirm, on the Moises Caicedo bid, apparently it's not Liverpool and it's not Chelsea. So who could have put in this bid? Do you think it could be Manchester City? Could it potentially be Arsenal? I mean, it's an £80 million bid that apparently has been submitted for Moises Caicedo from a surprise club. And it is not Liverpool and it is not Chelsea. Very, very mysterious. I mean, if that was Manchester United, that would be absolutely mental, wouldn't it? But it's probably not going to be. It's probably not going to be Manchester United. Let's be very, very honest here. It's probably going to be Arsenal. It's probably going to be Manchester City. But I thought I would bring it into the show just for a bit of fun. Do let me know in the comment section. Who do you think this surprise bid is? It is not Liverpool and it is not Chelsea. And let's see who gets it right. I think it's either City or Arsenal. Some people in the chat asking about Harry Maguire. Let's talk about that really, really quickly. So we've had a story come out this afternoon from a journalist in the UK saying the following. David Moyes is said to wish to try one more time to sign Harry Maguire, despite the player's reluctance to join West Ham. So obviously we had a £20 million bid rejected for Harry Maguire. And there's a journalist this afternoon reporting that West Ham are looking to put in a second bid and that David Moyes is really, really pushing for this transfer. Let's just all pray and hope that David Moyes does put in a second bid. And let's just hope that he puts in a bid of more than 20 million, because we know that Manchester United aren't going to accept 20 million. They reportedly want somewhere between 30 and 40 million pounds. Yeah, so we'll have to keep an eye on that one. We'll have to wait and see whether Manchester United manage to sell Harry Maguire. But for me, we 100% need to let him go. We've had a bit of a development on the Moises Caicedo story. So obviously we just spoke about a mysterious Premier League club that supposedly put in an £80 million bid, right? There's another bit of breaking news coming out in the last couple of minutes. I know Moises Caicedo was heavily linked to Manchester United, so that's why I'm bringing it into the show. Sky Sports are reporting that apparently a Saudi club have now contacted Brighton over signing Moises Caicedo. So Moises Caicedo is attracting a lot of interest at the moment. He really, really is. He was somebody who I would have absolutely loved to see at Manchester United. I think he's an absolutely quality player, but I will be happy with Amrabat. I'm not going to lie to you. And I am happy with Mason Mount. I'm happy with what we've got. I would have liked to have seen Moises Caicedo at Manchester United, but at the end of the day, we're not going to sign him. I highly doubt we're that mystery club. I'd be very, very surprised, but I guess you never know in football. Crazier things have happened, haven't they? So yeah, I'll keep you updated on that one, because I know a lot of you in the chat are really, really interested in Moises Caicedo. Let me know as well in the comment section how much you think would be a fair price for Harry Maguire. For me, I think anything between 20 and 30 million pounds would be fair. Anything less than that, I think, would be a disgrace. I think 20 is fine. Some people were giving me absolute abuse for that, but I think 20 is absolutely okay for Harry Maguire personally. Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely mad, isn't it? We know that this means that Caicedo is going to go for 100+ million now. If Saudi clubs have entered the race, if another club in the Premier League have entered the race, like, he's going to go for 100 million. And there is absolutely no way on earth that he is worth 100 million, in my opinion. Declan Rice isn't worth 100 million. Not a hope in hell. Like, football has gone absolutely mental. Fabrizio has just tweeted as well. This is about Rasmus Hojlund. This is breaking news. Fabrizio is reporting that Manchester United are aiming for the weekend to unveil Rasmus Hojlund as a new signing. Visa and contract work being finalised. Club aiming for weekend to seal and announce it. So Fabrizio has confirmed that it does look like he will be announced on the weekend. And Fabrizio is putting the blame on visa and contract work needing to be finalised. I mean, what have they been doing for the last 2 or 3 weeks? I don't really get that, to be completely honest with you. I do just think that's a bit of an excuse personally, but it is what it is. It looks like he will be. It looks like he will be here. And I did even see some people saying the other day, like, I wouldn't be surprised if Manchester United announced Mason Greenwood and then shortly after announced Rasmus Hojlund. I've seen loads of people saying that on Twitter. Like, obviously this is just an opinion. This hasn't come out from a journalist, but I wouldn't be surprised at all. Obviously the people who are asking about Mason Greenwood. I've had so many of you asking me about Mason Greenwood, literally every single stream you ask, and I try my best to give you answers on it, but obviously it is a difficult one to talk about. So Fabrizio Romano has come out saying that apparently Manchester United will announce ultimately what they're going to do with Mason Greenwood in the next 24 to 48 hours. Let me just find the exact quote for you. There was a fake Fabrizio Romano then that I just saw on Twitter, and it was saying that he was going to come back, and I was like, what? Yeah, so apparently Fabrizio was saying that Manchester United will announce. Let me just get the exact tweet up for you. I saw somebody in the chat asking about it. I wasn't planning on talking about Mason Greenwood, to be honest, but literally there's someone spamming in the chat asking, so I'm just going to read it out very, very quickly for you. Where's he gone? Yeah, so it does look like Mason Greenwood, we'll find out exactly what's going on with him in the next kind of 24 to 48 hours. And they have said that it will be at least, at the very latest, before Manchester United's first game. So this is the bit from Fabrizio Romano. He says, an announcement on Mason Greenwood's future is now a matter of days or even hours away. It all depends on Manchester United. So we are expecting to find out very, very soon whether Mason Greenwood will be a Manchester United player again. I'm not going to do a poll about it because I just don't really see the point. It's not up to us. If he does become a Manchester United player again, obviously we can discuss it at that point. But at the moment, he isn't a Manchester United player, so I'm not going to kind of discuss. I'm going to wait for Manchester United to make the decision, and then we can all discuss it as a community, and we can try and work out what the next kind of points are for Mason Greenwood. But as I just said, Fabrizio Romano has said that within either the next days or hours, Manchester United will announce what they'll do. And I'm not going to lie to you, I would not be surprised at all if maybe on Friday this week they say something and then Rasmus Hojlund gets announced on Saturday. I wouldn't be surprised if they announce he's staying and then they announce Rasmus Hojlund as the new signing, just to try and spin a bit of positivity. That's usually what Manchester United do. That's something that the Glazers have done very many, many times before. They put out something negative and then straight after they put out something positive. I know Mason Greenwood for some people will be negative, but for me, as I've said to you guys before, even if you put all of the personal stuff, aside, I just think purely on the footballing element, I do think he's an unnecessary distraction for this season, and I think that he's not gonna help Erik ten Hag in the sense of what he can offer on the pitch. But let me know what you think about that one. Obviously, if you disagree with me, if you think he's going to come back in and start scoring 20, 30 goals a season and he's going to make the difference between us and Manchester City, please do let me know. I'm always interested in you guys' opinions. I always just ask that you be respectful, okay? That's all I ask. You know, I always want people to be respectful. So yeah, if you do disagree with somebody else, don't give them abuse for it. But yeah, let me know what you think about that one. I just hope, to be honest, that we do find out in the next couple of days so we can just stop talking about it, because we get asked so much about Mason and it's just really, really frustrating, to be completely honest with you. So let's move on to something else. Let's talk about Donny van de Beek really, really quickly. So we've had a story come out this afternoon saying that apparently Real Sociedad have made an offer to Manchester United for Donny van de Beek. It's a loan with an option to buy. It's not an obligation buy, it's an option to buy. We don't know exactly how much the deal's worth or, you know, what they're ultimately offering, but it is a loan. It's not a permanent transfer. And for me, as I've said on this show very, very many times before, I would not loan out Donny van de Beek. I wouldn't. I would rather keep him than loan him. I think loans are pointless, to be completely honest with you. I get doing loans if you're really young, 17, 18-year-old player and you need experience. But for somebody like Donny van de Beek, he's not that. He's in his mid-20s. He's played for Ajax in the Champions League. He's played for Manchester United in the Premier League. He doesn't need to go out on loan. He either needs to be sold or he needs to stay at the club. For me, we should probably sell him if we can get 15 to 20 million for him. Sell him, sell Fred, sell McTominay, and then bring in Amrabat and maybe bring in another midfielder. Maybe you then go in for Lavia. Maybe then you go in for... I don't know, or you just give Kobe Mainoo some first-team football. You know, we have youth team players that I'd be happy to see get some game time. For me, it's 100% no. Donny van de Beek should not go out on loan to Real Sociedad. I think that's a terrible move. Loans never work, in my opinion. Eric Bailly goes out on loan with options to buy. The club don't play him and then they don't buy him. You know, it just doesn't work. So if you disagree, let me know in the comment section. But for me personally, it's a definite no for Donny van de Beek going out on loan. In relation to Fred, so we have got an update on Fred for you, actually. We did speak about this morning, but apparently Manchester United are now willing to accept around £12 million for Fred. I mean, it's so frustrating, isn't it? It's such a small amount of money. £12 million for somebody who plays for the Brazilian national team, has played over 100 matches for Manchester United. He clearly is a good player, maybe not at the level we require at this moment, but for me, I don't think 12 million is a good price for Fred. I really, really don't. At the end of the day, if that's all we can get, then we've got to take it, though. Fred didn't even go on the preseason tour. He's clearly out of the plans of Erik ten Hag. Erik ten Hag clearly doesn't fancy him at Manchester United. So for me, you 100% have to let him go. But I just hope that we get more than 12 million. Galatasaray are the ones leading the race at the moment. They've offered 3 bids so far, 5 million, 8 million and 10 million. And Manchester United are now willing to accept as little as 12 million pounds, which is about 15 million euros. Originally, it was 20 million euros they wanted. Now they've dropped it to 15. So yeah, I don't know what you guys think about that one. I know it's frustrating. I know a lot of you in the chat will want more than 12 million euros for Fred. But as I've said on this show before, he's got 1 year left on his deal. He's on £120,000 a week, which is absolutely ridiculous in my opinion. If you can get rid of him at this stage, get the 12 million. Obviously, you then save some money on wages, and that's happy days for everybody at the end of the day. So, yeah, let me know in the comment section what you think about that one. Let me know if you disagree or agree. 12 million, you then go and buy Amrabat, win-win. Happy days for everybody. We've got over 600 people watching, which is absolutely amazing. Please do go and smash a like on the video if you haven't already. And please make sure you subscribe to the channel. It's completely free. It doesn't cost any money. But if you do want to join the Daily Red Devils Members Club, I've just put a link in the chat. Or you can hit the $sign and do super chats and gift memberships and all that good stuff. So if you are in a position to support the community, please do get involved. And if you're not in a position financially, that's completely fine. Please do just subscribe and please like the video. That is completely free. Right, let's move on with the rest of the show though. We've got about 20 minutes left of the video, so let's keep things rolling. Right, where are we? I'm still really wondering about this Caicedo thing. I can't get it out of my head. I want to know who this Premier League club is. I have a feeling it's Arsenal. I mean, if it's Newcastle, that would be absolutely mental. I just saw somebody in the chat saying it was Newcastle. It's possible. Right, let's move on to the next story, though. Obviously, we spoke about Goretzka. We spoke about Romeo Lavia quite a lot. So we've got this story coming out this afternoon saying that apparently Manchester United have joined the race to sign 20-year-old Santos striker Marcus Leonardo, who is available for £15 million. He's a Brazilian striker, 20 years of age. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Before about half an hour ago, I'd never heard of him. He's very young. He is somebody who has apparently got really high potential. He plays his football, obviously, in the Brazilian league. He's just turned 20 years of age. He had quite a good season last year for Santos. I'm not going to pretend to you guys, I've never watched him play football, so I'm not going to sit here and say he's an amazing player. Obviously, the Brazilian league is very different to the Premier League. You know, if somebody does well in the Brazilian league, it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to do well in the Premier League. But what I will say here is, I do like that we're finally looking in the Brazilian market, because there's so many players, you know, Vinny, all of these people who've come from the Brazilian market who we've never ever been in the race for. And it does excite me a little bit that we are now looking in those kind of territories, because there are so many quality players in this kind of South America, Brazilian leagues, Colombia, all the rest of it. And we never really tap into those markets. So I am quite excited that we've been linked to this player. I did say I've never heard of him, to be completely honest with you. But had anybody in the chat heard of Vinicius Jr. before he went to Real Madrid? I hadn't personally. So yeah, I'm not against this move. He's 20 years of age. He plays for the Brazilian national team in the under-21s. Last season, he got 13 goals and 4 assists in 35 matches, which is quite good. That's what, a goal or an assist every other game. We 100% do need a second striker. Whether or not we'll put in a bid for him, I don't know. Apparently, Roma and Nottingham Forest are also in contact, which kind of puts you off a little bit, doesn't it? If the only other clubs who are interested in him are Roma, like, are we really going for Roma and Nottingham Forest? Like, are we really going for players who are wanted by Nottingham Forest? Like, it doesn't really set the levels very high, does it? But let me know if anybody in the chat's Brazilian, if anybody watches the Brazilian league, do let us know about this Marcus Leonardo guy. I'd love to get you guys' opinions on him if you know anything more than I do. Ryan in the chat is saying, is it Newcastle who made the bid for Caicedo? I mean, that's definitely possible. As I said, I think it will either be Newcastle, Manchester City or Arsenal. I don't know which one it will be. But yeah, if anybody has any other guesses, do let me know in the comment section. Josh is saying apparently Aston Villa are also interested as well. Okay. Right, let's move on to the next bit of news, though. Let's keep things rolling. So let's talk about the centre-back position. Obviously, we spoke about Harry Maguire, and we spoke about the fact that David Moyes is pushing to put in a second bid for him. Now, if Harry Maguire goes, it does look like we will look to sign a replacement. The most likely replacement is Jean-Claire Todibo, who plays for Nice in the French league. Now, there is a story that's come out in the last kind of 20 minutes or so from Fabrizio Romano that apparently Juventus have now entered the race to sign Jean-Claire Todibo from Nice. I'm not going to lie to you, he isn't somebody who I've watched a lot of, but when I have seen him, he looks quite good. I personally, wouldn't bother with another centre-back. I wouldn't. I think Jean-Claire Todibo is going to cost about £40 million, and I don't think we need another centre-back. I would give Johnny Evans an extra year, give him 1 year at the club, and then we go and sign a world-class centre-back next summer, because I do fear in a year or two, Raphael Varane will need to be replaced. As much as I love him, he's 30 years of age. He is injury prone, let's admit it. Raphael Varane is injury prone. He struggles to play more than 1 game a week, and we needed somebody young who can play 2 times a week, 3 times a week if needed, and stays fit all season. And as much as I love Varane, I think he's world class. I love the Varane and Martinez partnership. I do think in the next couple of years we will need to look for somebody to kind of at least come into the team and compete with him. I don't think Lindelof is that player. I really, really like Lindelof, but I don't think he's on the same level as Raphael Varane. He did really, really well last season, Lindelof, so I'm not going to slag him off, but I don't think Lindelof's as good as Martinez or Varane for me personally. I think Varane's world class. I think Martinez is world class, whereas Lindelof is a very good player, but he's not world class. Maguire obviously isn't world class or very good. Maguire is average. Let's be very clear about that. But yeah, I would personally just save the money, sell Harry Maguire, go and buy a striker next summer, go in for a world-class defender, because for me, going for Jean-Claire Todibo, he's the 3rd or 4th choice option. We know that Eric Ten Hag wanted Kim Min-jae, we didn't get that done. We know that he was interested in Disasi, he's going to Chelsea. This Todibo guy has got to be the 3rd choice option, really, hasn't he? So I personally wouldn't bother. I would reinvest that money in another area of the playing squad, because for me, buying his 3rd choice option is it's just stupid, really, at the end of the day, isn't it? You know, because he's not going to then go on to be the player we think he's going to be. And it does probably just mean in a couple of years' time we'll end up having to just buy another centre-back, and we'll have another player sat on the books on ridiculous wages who will end up having to sell for a quarter of what we paid for. I might be wrong. Maybe this Todibo guy comes in and he's the next best thing and he's here for the next 10 years. But for me personally, I wouldn't go for him. If I was going to sign any centre-back in world football at the moment, at this exact moment in time, I would go for Antonio Silva from Benfica. Portuguese centre-back. He's very, very young. He's 19 years of age. He's been doing incredibly well for Benfica. He's obviously come through the Benfica youth team. He played 30 games last season in the Portuguese league at the age of 19. This guy looks absolutely incredible. He really, really does. I would go all out for him. He played 10 times in the Champions League last season as well. Sorry, not last season. He played... Obviously, there isn't 10 games in the Champions League. I'm getting my stats mixed up there. So in the Champions League last season, he played... he did play 10 times. Wow. Yeah, so he played 10 times in the Champions League last season for Benfica. He got 2 goals in 10 matches as a centre-back, and he got 3 goals in 30 matches in the Portuguese league. I would go all out for this player. I think he's an absolutely quality player. Only 19 years of age. Honestly, he would be my priority signing. Antonio Silva, if you've not heard of him, go and check him out after this video. 19 years of age, Portuguese centre-back. I'm telling you, he is going to be the next big thing. He's got 4 years left on his deal, so I think it probably would be a deal for next season. But my point here is, I would not go for someone like Jean-Claire Todibo, because I don't think he's good enough. I think we need to go for somebody like this, a 19-year-old, right? Picture this, he's 19 years of age, and he played all 10 matches for Benfica in the Champions League. All 10. And he got 2 goals as a centre-back. Like, that kind of says it all, doesn't it? To be playing 10 matches in the Champions League at the age of 19, that's the kind of people you want in the squad. Whereas Todibo, all respect to Nice, it's not the same level as Benfica, is it? He hasn't played in the Champions League. I wouldn't personally bother with him, but let me know what you think about that one. If you have heard of Antonio Silva, let me know if you think he would be a good signing for Manchester United. If there's somebody else, another centre-back you think would be worth going for, do let me know. But yeah, he, in my opinion, is going to go on to be the next big centre-back in world football. And if we could get him for 40, 50 million, I would go and do that 100%, because I'm telling you, in 3 or 4 years' time, he's going to be worth 100 million. He's on the same level as Gvardiol from Red Bull Leipzig, 100%. He is absolutely incredible. People are asking about how my computer is. Honestly, I'm not trying to start a conspiracy here, right? So we did a video earlier on about the Manchester United takeover, about the Glazers, right? And my computer, it never makes this noise usually. It literally sounded like it was going to explode. And then the stream just completely froze. Everything went mad. That's never happened before. And in the end, we had to end the stream. But thank you for asking. My computer is now completely silent. Now that we've changed topics, my computer is happy. So yeah, you know, I don't usually believe in conspiracies, but that is a bit of a coincidence, isn't it? Obviously, I'm joking, but yeah. Right, let's move on to something else, though. I will read out a couple of your questions in a little bit as well, so do get your questions in if you haven't already. And please make sure you do smash a like on the video, and please subscribe to the channel if you are new. We're 30 subscribers away from 8,100, so let's see if we can hit that by the end of today's video. Go and subscribe right now if you haven't, and let's see if we can hit that by the end of today's stream. That would be a massive achievement. Right. Let's move on to the next story, though. But yeah, just to be very, very clear, my priority centre-back signing is Antonio Silva from Benfica, 100%. He is unbelievable. And if I couldn't get him, I'd get Tomori from Roma. Tomori's at Roma, isn't he? Roma? I'm losing my sense here. Sorry, Tomori's at AC Milan. I'd get Tomori or Antonio Silva. Those would be my two options. Yeah, as Josh says in the chat, you know, this Antonio Silva guy, he is right-footed. Rafael Varan is the right-sided centre-back. Rafael Varan is the one who I think is going to need to be replaced in a couple of years. Let me know if you think I'm wrong here. Is anybody else worried about Varan? I think he's world class on his day, but I am worried that he can't play 2 games a week anymore. Lisandro Martinez, he's 25 years of age. He's still very young. We've got Lisandro Martinez at his best, in my opinion, for the next 5+ years. Whereas Varan, he's obviously just retired from the national team, I think, because of injuries and stuff. He's 30, 31 next year. I think we've got 1 or 2 more years left of Varan, and then we need another first-choice centre-back. That's my personal opinion. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Yeah, I'm not... And just to be very clear, I'm not saying Varan's not a good player. I think he's a very, very good player. I just worry that his injury record, he can't play twice a week. And I do just think that at the end of the day, we're going to have to get a replacement. And Antonio Silva is the man for me. But let me know in the comment section, maybe you disagree. Maybe you think Varan is going to be good for another 4 or 5 years. Let me know you guys' thoughts. Right, let's move on to the next story, though. Let's keep things rolling. I wanted to do a little bit of a fun... activity, is that what you'd call it? Right, so the question is for this part of the show, guys, how many points are Manchester United going to get from their first 5 games in the Premier League this season? Okay, so our first 5 games are as follows. Listen very, very carefully. So we play Wolves at home, Tottenham away, Nottingham Forest at home, Arsenal away, and then Brighton at home. Let me know in the comment section, how many points do you think we will get from our first 5 matches in the Premier League this season? I'm going to go with the following. I'm just going to put it in the chat so you guys can see. Give me 1 second. How many points are we going to get from our first 5 matches this season in the Premier League? Let me know in the comment section below. I want to see some positivity here, but I also want you guys to be realistic. Don't just say 15 just because you're trying to be positive. So we've got Wolves at home, Tottenham away, Nottingham Forest at home, Arsenal away, and Brighton at home. So I'm going 3 points against Wolves. I'm going 1 point against Tottenham, 3 points against Forest, 1 point against Arsenal, and 3 points against Brighton. So I'm going with 11 points. Okay, 11 points from our first 15 games, and I'll be happy with that. I will. If we get anything more than that, I think that would be absolutely incredible. But at this point, I think we've got to be realistic. If Rasmus Hojlund is in there and firing, I'll say we'll get 15. But Arsenal have strengthened. Tottenham, it's their first home game of the season. That's the bit that worries me about Tottenham. It's their first home game of the season. Apparently, they're all protesting against something. I can't remember what it was. But the Tottenham fans are going to be really, really riled up. I will say this now, though. If Tottenham don't have Harry Kane by that point, I reckon we'll absolutely smash them. If Tottenham are without Harry Kane, they're going to be like a hurt animal, and we will go there and we will absolutely destroy them. So let's just hope that Harry Kane has left Tottenham by that point, because I'm confident if they don't have Harry Kane, we'll absolutely batter them. I really do believe that. But yeah, let me know how many points will we get from our first 5 games in the Premier League this season. I've gone with 11, but I have said if Tottenham lose Harry Kane, then we will smash them. I'm confident of that. Malk says Varan was a Rolls Royce. Now he's an unreliable Range Rover. Trust me, he isn't reliable. I kind of do agree. As much as I like Rafael Varan, I think he was a quality signing. As much as I think he's a quality signing, we need somebody who can play every single week for Manchester United. We need somebody who can play every single game. And Rafael Varan gets injured way too much for my liking. And the fact that he's had to retire from the national team, and he's only 30 years of age. He's not even very old, is he? Yeah, it does concern me. I mean, this season alone, he missed... All right, so Rafael Varan this season missed 15 matches for Manchester United, okay? The season before that, he missed 12, 13. So he missed 15 this season, and he missed 17 last season, Rafael Varan. I mean, that is a lot, isn't it, of matches? 17 in his first season and 15 in the last season. And that's all through injury. That's not because he was sat on the bench or wasn't picked. He missed he's missed a lot. He's missed about a third of our matches across the last 2 seasons, which is a hell of a lot, really, isn't it? For somebody, yeah. And I do just wonder whether we do need to replace him soon, you know? I think we've got this season, we'll be fine, but next season I think the priority will be getting a right-sided centre-back. Obviously, Harry Maguire needs to go. Lindelof will probably leave at some point because he'll want first-team football. And then at that point, we need to go in and get this world-class centre-back. We really, really do. And I'm putting it down now. You can clip this. You can do whatever you want with it. That guy has to be Antonio Silva. Right, let's read out a couple of your questions, actually, whilst you guys are here. People asking about the takeover. Since we spoke earlier, guys, there's not really been any updates on the takeover. Obviously, Ben Jacobs put out this cryptic tweet, ultimately saying that apparently it's that Qatar are the ones who are slowing down the process. I don't really know. I don't really buy into that, to be completely honest with you. So Magic Hotel says, after Maguire goes, who will be the next scapegoat? Aging Varan or Patchy Lindelof? Wow. Honestly, guys, I don't do scapegoats. I'm not that type of person. I really am not. I'm not saying that Varan is a scapegoat. I'm just saying that Varan is a world-class player. I said that. I think he's absolutely quality. I was so happy we signed him. I've just said over the last 2 seasons, he's missed a third of the matches. So the writing is on the wall, isn't it? He clearly has injury problems and we need replacing at some point. I'm not saying we haven't won the league because Raphael Varane doesn't play every single match. We haven't won the league because our team's not good enough across the whole pitch, you know? There's not one single player, I don't think, across our whole squad, maybe bar Lisandro Martinez, who I think can get away with not being criticised, genuinely. I think Lisandro Martinez is the only player from last season, in my opinion, who I can't say a bad word about. He gave 110% every single game, and in my opinion was one of the best players of the year. Even Rashford, he got us 30 goals, but loads of games he went missing. Casemiro was world-class in some games and then disappeared in others. Like, I don't do scapegoats on this channel, and that's not something that I'm going to do. It's a team sport. All of them are to blame. If we don't win the Premier League, it's not because Anthony didn't use his right foot. It's because all of them weren't good enough, all right? So just to be very, very clear about that, that's not something that you'll get from me on this show or on this channel. I'm not going to be scapegoating Jadon Sancho because he misses a goal. I'm not, you know, that's just not the kind of person I am. It's a team sport. If we don't win the Premier League or we don't achieve whatever you guys have set out for Manchester United this season, it's not because of one player. It's not because we got rid of David De Gea. It's because of all of them. So yeah, that's the black and white of it. I mean, this is a good question. Simon says, how many more seasons do you think Casemiro will play at the highest level? I reckon probably 1 or 2, to be completely honest with you. I do. People are probably thinking I'm being negative, but I'm just being completely honest here. I think Casemiro and Varane have got probably 2 more seasons at the top level, and then I think they will need replacing. I do, and that's just my honest opinion. We need younger players to be coming through, and I genuinely do believe, though, that Kobbie Mainoo could be that player that replaces Casemiro. I have really, really high expectations for Kobbie Mainoo. I'm not expecting him to replace him now, but in the next 1 or 2 years, I do expect Kobbie Mainoo to kind of break through into the team, challenge Casemiro, and then eventually Casemiro, Varane will be removed from the club, you know? Not because they're not good enough, just because they're getting old, they're not physical, they don't have the stamina anymore to play in the Premier League. I'm just checking Casemiro's contract. Casemiro's contract expires in 2027. So yeah, we've got 4 years of Casemiro. Okay. Raphael Varane, let me check his contract for you guys really, really quickly. Varane's contract expires in 2026. So yeah, I think that seems about right. We'll have Varane for 3 more years, and then we'll have Casemiro for 4 more years. I'm happy with that. But I do think towards the end of those contracts, people will start saying both of them are past their best, they need to leave the club, and then their contracts would expire and they'll probably go to Saudi Arabia. That would, if I was going to predict the future, that's probably what would happen. But yeah, let me know what you think about that one. Yeah, Dave says Casemiro's got 3 to 4 years left in him. Yeah, I think that's about right. I'd say probably 2 years, 2 years for Varane and maybe 3 for Casemiro. I think that sounds about right. Right, let's. Someone's asking about Pellistri in the chat. Let's talk about him really, really quickly. So at the moment, it looks like Pellistri will be going out on loan. Manchester United are currently negotiating a new contract with Pellistri. The 2 clubs who seem to be leading the race at the moment for his signature are Boco Juniors, which I think would be a terrible move, and FC Twente in the Eredivisie, which I think would also be a terrible move. For me, the same as Donny van de Beek, unless we can get him a really, really good move to a Premier League club. I'm thinking someone like Luton. I'm thinking Burnley. I'm thinking one of those lower table Premier League clubs where he's going to play every single game. I would just keep him, because sending him to Boca Juniors is literally the most pointless decision ever, I think. It's a completely different league. It's not as physical. Like, what's the point in sending somebody on work experience to a league that they're never going to play in? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So yeah, for me, Pellistri should stay. And if he doesn't stay, he needs to go to a Premier League club. Sending him out on loan to Boca Juniors is absolutely stupid, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. If you disagree, if you think that would be a good move for him, do let me know in the chat. As Simon says, Pellistri to Utrecht is not a good move. Yeah, it's not. It really, really isn't. And I know that Erik ten Hag has this Dutch connection, and he probably thinks higher of the Eredivisie than a lot of us do. But Pellistri going to the Eredivisie, he'll probably go there and do incredible. He'll get loads of goals and assists, and then he'll come back to Manchester United. He'll play in the Premier League, and he won't look up to it, because he's not going to be as physical. But yeah, for me, it's a definite no. So there's this story coming out in the last 50 seconds, right? I'm bringing it to you live. I don't know what to think about this. It is a Moroccan journalist. He's got 100,000 followers on Twitter, and he is reporting intermediaries working around the Amrabat to Manchester United deal are currently in England holding talks with Manchester United. Now, a few journalists have said this today. Fabrizio hasn't said it. Ornstein hasn't said it. None of the big hitters have said it. It's been all of these kind of smaller Moroccan journalists. But they are reporting that apparently Amrabat's representatives are in the UK to get a deal over the line. I mean, you never know, do you? Maybe Fred's on the brink of moving to Galatasaray. Maybe in the next kind of week, we get Fred goes to Galatasaray, and then the domino falls and Amrabat comes to Manchester United. Until I get it from Fabrizio, I'm not going to sit on this channel and say, you know, Amrabat's agents are in the UK confirmed. I just don't think we can kind of put our name on the line in that sense, because at the end of the day, it is only coming from Moroccan journalists at the moment. He obviously is Moroccan, so maybe there is some legs in it, but I do think Fabrizio would be reporting on it if there was any legs in it personally. Right, I'm going to read out a couple more questions, and then I will be wrapping up the video. Obviously, we did do a stream before this that went absolutely mental because of the weather here. The computer nearly died. Yeah, it wasn't fun. But yeah, we've got about 5 minutes left, so I will read out a couple of questions. Please do smash a like on the video if you haven't already, and please do subscribe to the channel. So Big T says, has Martial had more injuries than Eric Bailly? I'm not too sure, to be completely honest. I mean, Martial's injury record is an absolute joke as well, isn't it? All I'm going to say is, all right, I'm going to put a bit of positivity onto this. I brought this up on a show a couple of months ago, and people were saying to me, why the hell are you talking about this? And I said, I think this is really important. But anyway, Manchester United have signed a new head doctor at Manchester United, okay? They took him from Arsenal. 3 or 4 of the Premier League clubs were after this guy. He's been at Arsenal for the last 10 or 15 years. Apparently, he's one of the most highly sought after doctors in the Premier League. Manchester United have signed him as their head doctor, their head of fitness and all the rest of it. Maybe this guy can work miracles, and maybe Rafael Varan, Martial, all of these people who have had injury problems, maybe next season they do come back and they do really, really well. Let's just keep our fingers and toes crossed. Let's hope that that happens. Yeah, I'm not too sure, to be completely honest with you. I don't know how... Like, you wouldn't really need a special doctor, wouldn't you, to get Martial back to full fitness, wouldn't you? You really, really would. I mean, last season alone, right? Anthony Martial missed. I mean, how many games do you think Anthony Martial played last season? Let me ask you that. That's a good starting point. So last season, Anthony Martial missed. Martial missed 27 matches last season for Manchester United. Absolutely crazy. 27. It's so bad, isn't it? And the season before that, he missed... The season before that wasn't too bad. He missed 9 matches. The season before that, he missed 20. I mean, the last couple of seasons, he's missed like 20 matches per season, every single season. It's not great, is it? It really, really isn't. But yeah, I've said my stance on Anthony Martial before. If we get a big offer from Saudi Arabia, I would 100% cash in on him. He's got 1 year left on his deal. As I just said, he missed nearly 30 matches for Manchester United last season. 100% needs to go. But whether he will or not, I'm not too sure, to be completely honest with you. Right. I'm going to wrap up the video here. Feels like a really, really good point to end the video. Thank you so much to everybody who has joined us today. Obviously, we did have the issues earlier with the stream, so thank you to everybody who bared with me for that stream. I really, really do appreciate it. I will be back at 8 a.m. UK time tomorrow, as always. I do ask that before you leave, you smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel. We're now less than 30 subscribers away from 8100, so let's see if we can hit that by the end of this video. I will catch you guys at 8 a.m. UK time tomorrow. Have a lovely evening or day wherever you are in the world. This has been Daily Red Devil. I've been Kieran, and I'll catch you guys later. Lots of love and peace out.